going on, all you lubricated leprechauns? My name is Mason.
And I'm Alex. You came over that ahead of time. There's no way you just made that.
I told that is completely off the dome. And welcome to FU Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Oh, that was completely off the dome. It even caught me off guard. Oh god! I just got the weirdest image.
Yeah, like a good lubricated leprechaun.
Oh god! You know what it made me think of? It made me think of Ace Ventura when he's coming out of the rhino's ass.
Why is that what you thought of?
Well, it's because it's lubricated and it's just like, I don't know. Oh god.
Oh my god. All right. Moving on.
I think we say that every time. Okay, moving on. Well. Alex, speaking of funny, what a funny game last night, huh?
Oh man, it actually
it was so bad, but it was also really entertaining. You know what I mean? God, Trubisky, it gives way too much credit to the theory that the NFL is scripted. It's just like, oh my God, Trubisky, why? What are you doing? Why are you throwing go routes on 3rd and 3? What are you doing?
I mean, he did. It's not like he like called that play. It's more like, Tomlin, what are you doing? It's Trubisky.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess John and I were arguing about this last night. I was like, Tomlin's not calling the plays, but John's point was, well, he hears the plays.
He hears the plays, yeah. Yeah.
But like the problem is that he can't stop every fucking play that has some go route that, you know, some like field stretching play, because I guess he just needs to communicate with his offensive coordinator, be like, stop doing that. Do things closer to the line of scrimmage, because he's going to be tempted to throw it.
Yeah. I mean, that almost the same exact play is what got Deontay Johnson's first touchdown, though. I didn't hate the call. I just hate the quarterback.
Yeah, but like almost every time, there was at least twice, maybe 3 times on like 3rd and medium to 3rd and short, he threw the ball really long. And I was like, why, man? Why is that the play call that, like, I guess they're trying to open, I don't know. You're
trying to outthink the room. Yeah.
It's just like, man, they really needed to get him going early and often on routes just to make him comfortable and to get him in rhythm. And they did not help him at all. I think that
they took him away. They took him away. They were double teaming him. They had a single high safety over him. They had a one-on-one matchup against Pickens, and Pickens couldn't win that one-on-one matchup. And they double teamed Deontay Johnson.
They should have used Freiermuth more then, you know? I guess they really wanted to lock down the middle of the field. I just they did a decent job of getting Warren open in space. I think they started to figure that out, but they really just simple. I just feel like they need to do a simpler playbook for him. But they almost won. They still were in the game. But I think a lot of that stuff is just timing, that, you know, he didn't have those reps with these guys, so it's hard to get on the same page.
Right. Yeah. It's so, like, we make fun of these quarterbacks like Pickett and Zach Wilson. When they don't play, they don't win games. So, like, whatever that is to you, whatever stats you want to throw out about anything, if those dudes don't play, they don't win games. So who cares, like, how many yards whoever threw or whatever? Zach Wilson was winning some games, and Kenny Pickett was winning games, and they don't play, they don't win games.
It's true. I mean, it's funny. You can look at all these stats that go against them, and you would guess that the Steelers were, you know, like 3-10 at this point, because they've got a negative point differential by a large margin. But then they're still, I mean, what are they, 6-5 now, or 6-7 now?
7-6 now.
They're still 7. Okay, see, they're still positive. I mean, they're still in the hunt. Yeah, I know Pickens is he's out for. Is he officially on IR?
Pickett will come back next week, I think.
God, I think is it Pickens? Is it? So he didn't go to IR. Yeah, so he should be. They're still in it, you know. And it sucks because they just got this new offensive coordinator. They're trying to wrinkle out or, iron out some of those wrinkles, and then they have to go with a different quarterback. So it's just like,
yeah.
And I think the more impressive thing is how Bailey Zappi played. If we're going to talk about anything, we should probably talk about Bailey Zappi playing in the first half, man.
I'm sitting here, and I am doing these clips last night. And also great calls by you, by the way, on one, Deontay Johnson, and two,
you had him ranked higher than I did. You were giving me flowers last night. I was like, bro, you had him ranked higher. You kind of helped convince me, but then we both looked into it a little bit deeper. I was like, I want to see what the thing. We went and walked our dogs last night together, and I was trying to find. I know you can find it on StatMuse. The points that Trubisky and DJ had in the past, and you looked it up, and so we kind of combined our efforts, and he didn't have a game less than like 12 points.
Yeah,
PPR. So I was like, I gotta play him.
Yeah,
because Ridley's gonna play in this quagmire, nasty slog fest in Cleveland. It's supposed to be raining. It's supposed to snow that night. I was like, ooh, CJ Beathard also kind of banged up, or Trevor Lawrence kind of banged up. No, thank you.
Yeah, he also gets Ward's shadow too. So it's
plus the defenses. I mean, they've been a little bit more porous recently in the past few weeks, but still, I can't trust Ridley already without the help of anybody else is also kind of inconsistent. So put all these other X factors in, and I was just like, I got to go with DJ. And it turned out to be a good call.
So I'm looking at I say, you know what? I kind of like Tyquan Thornton anytime touchdown, and then I was like, you're probably better off just doing Hunter Henry. Just a little I passed it along that. And I was like, man, I should have just committed to that.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns and 25 yards or something like that.
Oh my god! And that second touchdown was a beautiful pass. Beautiful.
The one was a little bit busted coverage, but the other one was awesome.
Yeah. Great throw. So I'm going to go to my rant because it's kind of has to do with this game. So we want to see comebacks. We want to see final drives. We want to see drama. NFL officials. The New England Patriots dude jumps off sides, grabs his helmet because he knows he did the wrong thing.
Oh, because God, I saw things on this today. God,
and they called a false start. We don't want to see the false start. We want to see the offsides. We want to see drama. We want to see a comeback win. We want to see our terrible offense versus your great defense. Can Trubisky kind of pull it out with that momentum? The defensive player told you with his actions that he was at fault.
Yeah,
he was at fault, and he still said, well, he moved his head too fast. Really?
Wasn't it on the long snapper that did it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he just went like normal. Yeah. It's not like he jerked his head up.
If the offensive line, or I guess the special teams line in this case, moves after the defensive line is in the neutral zone, then it's on the defense. It's not on. So that was the wrong call.
Yeah, well, they were saying that you can't make a jerky movement to draw guys off sides, and they were saying the long snapper lifted his head up. It's what every long snapper does. He looks between his legs, and he gets his calls right, and then he looks up and he hikes the ball.
Yeah,
it's literally every single time.
It's terrible.
And they called it. It's just like officials, stop doing this. Stop ruining the game for your. Even if you think that you saw a false start, and you see the defensive guys like, oh crap, I messed up.
It's a little bit of
it's like they called him defense.
It's a little bit of letter of the law. It's like these guys were bullied in high school, and they're taking it out in their profession, and it's like so letter of the law, not like the theory of the law. And it's like, well, it technically was because he did do this, and I can explain this away, instead of being like, what like, let's look at the bigger picture. Is that really what happened? Or is that like, is there a slight thing? You don't need to be trigger happy. It's like policemen that are gun trigger happy, you know? It's like you were trained to protect and serve, and also like referees, you were trained to like enforce rules that need to be enforced, you know? It's like, come on.
Well, it's like the whole like you took your helmet off on the field. It's like, shut up. Like, shut up. Nobody watching the game cares if a player takes his helmet off. I'm kind of going on like a little bit of a tangent, but when Brian Burns got ejected the other day because somebody pushed his helmet and he pushed their helmet back, it's like, oh, that was a punch. That wasn't a punch, man. He pushed like it was like a mush, like you did when you were in high school.
Oh yeah.
You're ejecting our best player because of that. Come on, man. Nobody wants to see that.
Alex, I thought Frankie Louvu was our best player.
Yeah, you're right, but it's more dramatic. It's more dramatic if I say that they're getting rid of our best player.
Well, I mean, it's pretty apples, you know, pretty close, pretty close.
Yeah,
but yes, I agree. It's super annoying. It's just so bad when the refs take it into their own hands. They get the bully kid syndrome. It's just so annoying. You're there to make the game better, not to you know, nitpick every little thing.
Yeah, we can talk about this forever, but we probably need to do some analysis. What's your rant for the day?
I got so flustered. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Oh, I think I actually have something. No, I don't. I think I guess I'm really annoyed at myself. I kept talking to you yesterday on the pod, and I kept talking to my buddy John at the bar, saying that I was like, this is a trap game. It's not, the under is too easy. And John looked it up. 74% of bets went on the under for that game.
Wow.
74. Vegas took us for a ride, y'all.
Yeah.
It's just too easy. It was a shitty, rainy game up in New England last week against the Chargers. We should have fucking known, man. And I said it. I was like, there's no way. I was like, this is screaming to hit the over. And it was. So there you go.
Yeah. So I had Steelers was a big call of mine beginning of the year. I've like kind of retracted that for a lot of different reasons. One, because Deontay Johnson missed a lot of games, Pickett's missing games. I don't think that they're good when they don't have home field. I just thought they were going to have home field, and I think they would have if they were all fully healthy for the majority of the season. But I do have Pittsburgh over 8.5 wins, but I also have New England over 4.5 wins. So I'm right there with both of them. So there's a chance.
Yeah, I think I think Pittsburgh could win 9 games.
Yeah,
How many games we have left?
4.
Depends on what their schedule is. I don't know if you know it off the top of your head, but that's still doable. It's still doable. And New England could too. They looked pretty good. Their defense was humming, and Zappy, you know,
they got healthy, man.
Injured his Bobo. He looked pretty good.
Yep. I mean, I think they're gonna have to upset some AFC East teams, but they got the chance. They already beat the Bills. So
for a game that was, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be a terrible game." I was thoroughly entertained watching it.
Definitely entertaining, and definitely good for fantasy. People that played Zeke Elliott, Deontay Johnson.
Of course, I went against Zeke Elliott, man.
Hunter Henry.
Yeah, didn't have to go against him, thank God. But Zeke, I did have to go to the other. He also had Warren Davis. It's fucking Davis. He's not even here. He threw Zeke and Warren at me, and I had both of those guys like fringe flex plays. This is in our 12-team 3 wide receiver, and there you cannot find a running back on the waiver wire to save your life. Yeah. So when Zeke was there, I think he'd already owned, like, honest to God, like, there is nothing. It is a wasteland. I picked up DJ Dallas yesterday just to have as a backup to the backup to the starting running back.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. But so for me, I want Davis to win because I want our podcast to do well, and he's like on the fringe. He needs to win to make it in the playoffs. And I need you to lose because we're fighting for the second five spot.
It is funny that it has come down, for this league at least, it's come down to like there's a lot going on for the three of us, predicated on Davis and I's outcome of this game.
Yeah,
and he started up pretty well. He's 27 from Zeke and 8 from Warren. So combined together, that's decent stats for two guys. Still, not the projections really mean that much, but he's still not projected to beat me.
Yeah, I mean your team's pretty good.
Yeah, well, as long as they're healthy, I've got my guys got to be healthy. Luckily, you and I have already clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah.
We're just fighting for that bye now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of okay either way. You have to lose for me to get in because you have like 100 more points than I do, I think. But
I got some tough matchups this week too. So we'll see. Let's go move on to our show
preview.
Also, just want to talk about a great call on Warren and Najee. You said I would really like to play neither one of them, but if you're going to play one, play Warren. And good call.
Well, yeah. You're welcome for those 8 points.
Yeah. Well, you said don't play either one of them, but if you had to, Warren.
Did you have them high? Did you have Warren higher?
Yeah, I had Warren top 20 play. Whoops. But I had Najee, I think like 35. Or
yeah, you had him much lower. Yeah.
I just didn't think that there would be any touchdowns scored, and I was wrong. So the first game we got Bucks versus Falcons. I actually love this game. Is there anything that stands out to you about this game?
So the guy that I'm going to go with, so we just kind of highlight one dude, each one of us do, and then you kind of do a summation. I'm going to go with Drake London. I kind of talked about him a little bit yesterday, and I dove a little bit deeper. If you're in a little like a 12 team, I think he's a flex play. Last time the Falcons and Tampa Bay played, he went 6 for 7 for 54 yards. So he got 11.4, which is a decent flex play. If you get that with him this week, I think you'll be happy. Tampa Bay, obviously, their secondary has been pretty bad throughout the season. Drake London has had 2 weeks ago. He had 14 points. Last week was a little abysmal, but this is a really plus matchup. So if they can get him the ball, he's gotten decent targets over the past few weeks, even though last week he didn't produce very well.
Yeah, big receivers usually do pretty well against. Big strong receivers do well against the Bucks. If you even think about Mingo, Mingo's a rookie and he did well against the Bucks last week, and they're at home. I like that call, unfortunately, because I don't recommend ever playing Falcons. But if you're going to play one,
I'm just thinking about our 3. If you're in a 3 wide receiver, definitely playable, 100%.
Yeah. Guy, I mean, it's pretty much taxes. What is it? Death taxes and. Start your tight ends against the Falcons. Is that the term, death taxes?
Yeah, death taxes and whatever you want to put in there.
Yeah, and start your tight ends against the Falcons. I like as a bet. I've already bet it. I like Kate Otten anytime touchdown in this game.
Even after the goose egg last week, huh?
Yeah, it's the Falcons. They're just terrible against the tight end. If I'm actually thinking about playing Godwin. They don't protect the middle of the field very well, and their linebackers have been banged up. They didn't have White or the other. I can't think of the name right now. The guy last week. The middle field's open for not Falcons. That's the Bucks. Crap. Sorry. I think that the Jesse Bates will be focus a lot on Mike Evans. The middle of the field will be open. I like Otten and Godwin to get some catches in the middle of the field. So I think you can play Godwin.
I'm looking at your Cade. You think you can play Godwin? Yeah. I'm looking at your Cade Otten ranking. You have him at 15, and we had this bet about Gerald Everett last week. You like Gerald Everett still better than Otten?
No. I was going to ask you if I could change my my guy from Komet to Otten.
Ooh.
You don't have to.
No, because I don't like Cole Kmet. I have him ranked low. Well, you have him ranked as a top
I know. I told you that yesterday. I was like, I wanted to make the bet because I don't really believe in Everett, but I was like, I don't like Coker Bet either.
I mean, in a 12-team league, which there's a lot of them out there, you have him as a start.
Yeah, no, I actually I'm pushing Otten over both of those guys. Just because I was
still top 12 for you though.
yeah, no, you're right. You're correct. It is a wasteland out there for tight end. But I like Otten in this game. I like Otten at least 10 points this game.
Oh, I forgot to rank Otten. I think I didn't rank Otten because he put a goose egg up. Yeah, I took him out because but you're not wrong that the Falcons are bad against. So I would probably put him around the yeah.
Hopefully,
Adon had like 2 good games, like back to back, and that's the only thing he's really done this year.
I'm pretty sure his other good game was against the Falcons.
Maybe. Here, I'm looking it up right now. Keep going.
Okay, cool. So you're starting Bijan. You're starting London. If you have to, you can start Pitts. I don't ever want to start Pitts. Then on the Buck side, even though it's a bad matchup, you still got to start Rachaad White. You're starting Mike Evans, and then flex if you see the rankings. Godwin, I think, is playable, and I think Otten is a top 12 tight end.
Yeah, I'm steering clear of Godwin. I understand if you have to, but that sounds so Southern. Just I understand if you have to.
I understand if you have
to. Last time, week 7, 5 for 43, 9.3 points. So not terrible. That's fuck. If you get that from your a streaming tight end, then yeah, for sure. But besides that, he's had 3 games of double digits and only one that like everyone got really excited after he had that 23, but it was a 2-touchdown game, against Houston.
Yeah.
So
you are also really bad against tight end.
Yeah. He's averaging 7.6 points. So meh.
yeah. All right, moving on to Rams at Baltimore. I put a nice hefty bet on Baltimore minus 7.5. I just think they absolutely destroy the Rams. Just like dismantle and destroy the Rams. But what do you think about this game? Is there anybody that you like specifically?
I was thinking about this. I mean, I think the only one that like is kind of an outlier that we talked about a little bit last time is Isaiah Likely. I think that, and yeah, I think your pass catchers on the Baltimore side, you can be a little bit more optimistic about. But we both have Isaiah Likely as a top 10 play, so I think he's the guy to go with if you're like feeling on the fringe about anything.
Yeah, I think this is a huge running back game. I think you can start with confidence Keaton Mitchell and Gus Edwards. I actually have Keaton Mitchell anytime touchdown this week as well.
I don't mind that. I think I had him hovering around. I had him right above those Pittsburgh running backs. The volatility makes me nervous with him, but he's been getting more and more touches. So
yeah, he's slowly gone up in snap share, and then he's had a full bye week to get more ingrained in the offense and the protections. Because I think that's the big thing about him is that you trust Gus Edwards more with the pass protection. But I don't think that there's going to be very many passes thrown by Baltimore. I think they're going to just run it down their throat. So I like both running backs. I like Flowers. I like Likely. You can OBJ is kind of in that Godwin range.
He's the guy. So he's the guy. I just looked up stats. So I before the bye they played the Chargers and he had 6.4. But I think that was that the week that he got banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
Before that he had 14.6, 11.0, 15.6. So they were getting him the ball. So he's if you're in a deeper league, again, like those 3 wide receiver leagues, 12-team leads, and you're desperate, he could absolutely be thrown in the flex or in that 3rd wide receiver slot.
Yeah. I probably am not playing Cup here. By pure volume, I like Kyron and Puka. But I don't think I don't even know if they scored a touchdown in this game. I think the Ravens just dismantle the Rams, even though the Rams are playing pretty well. Harbaugh off bye at home with that defense.
It's at Baltimore, which is tough. I still have Williams as a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to get a lot of volume.
Yeah. And he's going to catches.
Exactly. And so that's really what that's predicated on. I really would love to see the Rams keep this one close. I think nobody gave them a chance against the Browns last week, and they proved a lot of people wrong. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there could be a lot of garbage time as well. It's just you're flying cross country off a Harbaugh team, off a bye. And I know we were joking around about Lamar. Lamar did show up at practice today, so he's healthy. He had a little bit of an illness, but he
like you say, he always has something.
It's so weird. What a weird immune system. Okay, I think you're starting with these guys. Let's move on to Lions at Bears. I actually like the Bears in this matchup, but I did take the points, so I got a plus 3.5. What do you like or dislike about this game, Mason?
The guy that I'm going to go with, the highlight, is Roschon Johnson. Before the bye, he had 15 total touches, which is his most of the year.
Wow.
So I think they are trying to see what they have in him. And if I'm the GM, if I'm the head coach, we're coming down the stretch. What was he, like a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick?
I think something like that. Yeah.
Enough draft capital there to see what you got, and I think if I'm them, I saw signs of life the other week. He was 10 for 35, which isn't great, but he was 5 for 5 through the air for 40 yards. So he got you 12.5 points before their bye week, and now they're coming off fresh. If I'm them, I'm gonna see what I have with this guy. So I would roll him out as a flex, again, like in a deeper league, or like when you have more than the standard slots. I think you can throw him in that flex spot and see what he does for you. If I had him in our league, I would probably be playing him just because I've got a couple of injuries. But I think he is someone to keep an eye on moving forward. If he puts another double-digit fantasy point game, if you're too nervous to play him this time, then I think he's definitely startable the next week.
Yeah, and I think I think both teams are going to lean on the run. It is outdoors in Chicago, so I don't like golf in this matchup. You definitely still playing Amon-Ra because he's Amon-Ra, but you're playing Laporta. I would just temper expectations because also Bears defense has been playing pretty well as of late. You're playing DJ Moore. You are playing. If you're me, you're playing Kokomet. Roschon is the only back that I would touch in the Bears backfield. I don't want Herbert or Foreman in this matchup.
I almost made DJ my Foo Fighter.
DJ Moore?
Mm-hmm.
I like him this week.
Because last time they played, he had 18 points. When Fields is playing, he has eyes only for him. He has crazy amount of points when DJ is playing. I wish I'd pulled that up to see exactly what their totals are. After they started clicking, they had some great games. And then he went out for a couple weeks, but he's back at it, and DJ's been really good.
Yeah, I was a Bears hater preseason because I hate the Bears, but they could be what the Lions were last year. That defense is playing really well, and they got offensive weapons, and they're healthy. I like the Bears in this game, like I said, but I am taking the points just in case because I just don't think that Goff's going to be able to move the ball outdoors in Chicago.
Yeah. When did Fields go down? Do we remember?
When did he go down?
Yeah.
He was down for 3 or 4 weeks, and I
think it was week 6 to 9, something like that.
Okay.
Because he came back against us in Carolina at the Panthers, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
So he was
we played Beijing and lost, unfortunately.
Oh, damn, that's right. So he's only been back 2 weeks. Well, in the 2 weeks he's been back, DJ Moore has 22.6 and 22.4 points. And before he went down, which I think was he went down
week 6.
Then it was Minnesota. So dude. All right, here it is. After the first week, which they were not on the same page, 16.4, 13.1, 27.1, 49. He goes down 10.1, 13.3, 9.5, 5.4, 10.9. He comes back 22.6, 22.4. It is great. Dude, that is wild.
Yeah.
I bet he has another plus 18. I almost made him my Foo Fighter. I think he's going to go crazy again.
And they're off bye, so they I don't. What, man? So Mason, you picked Atlanta to win the NFC South, and it looks like they have a strong case for it. I think the Bucks will have something to say. And you picked the Packers.
I technically picked the Panthers but I wanted to pick the Falcons.
Well, you put money on the Falcons, so
yes.
So money talks. But watch out for the Packers. Lions don't have this sewn up. I mean, I definitely think the Bears. I like the Bears in this game, at least with the points as well. All right, so
I think it's a fun game. I'm excited to watch that one. I think there's a lot of points to be scored.
I think it's a fun division.
Great division. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Colts at Bengals. Browning shows some life. What do you think about this game? Anybody you like, dislike?
Yes, but you're gonna laugh. But also, this is some sexy stats here. I'm taking the Indianapolis defense to highlight in this.
Wow.
They, in the past 5 weeks, are the #1 defense. And with that, they had a bye week. With the bye week, in 4 games, they are still the #1 defense.
Wow.
They have put together, in the past 4 of the last 5, because they were on bye,
right?
27, 13, 12, and 17 are their point totals.
Man, are they good?
Is incredible. And they get Cincy now, who, Browning? Why does that sound?
Browning, yeah, it is Browning.
I sounded wrong when it came out. Jake Browning, right? He looked great last week. People were trying to he looked good, but it's like, no, he looked really fucking good. He had 80% in his first 2 games as a starter. He has 80% completion rating. That's a fun little stat. But he's still a backup. And Cincinnati is humming. So this is a different defense than was playing at the beginning of the year when everyone was like, "Oh, load up on Cincinnati." This is going to be interesting, and I think he throws a pick against this defense. I just don't see, if they've been doing this against starters. if they get Jake Browning, I think they can figure it out. I think it's at Cincinnati.
It is.
So that doesn't play into their hand as well, but they've played really well. I think they're a smash start. I think they've got a decent schedule going forward too.
Yeah, Indy and Cincinnati are like an hour away from each other. So it's not like a huge home field advantage. No. It's just more the weather is going to be in play because it's going to be nice and chilly on that water. I like for it to be sort of a shootout. But I think that shootout could include some defensive points as well. I think that the Colts are going to jump out to a lead for sure. I think it's going to be a good Moss. I think it's going to be a good Moss game because of game script. I think they hop out to a lead. They're going to lean on the run. Bengals will have to try to play catch up. Yeah. You're going to see a lot of chase points. You're going to see a lot of mix and dump offs. You're going to see, I think, some Higgins in there as well. I like almost everybody that is fantasy relevant in this game. I think Josh Downs is even the start in this game because Bengals defense #ain't great.
Their schedule moving forward is very plus. They could really help you win championships if you can go get them. If they're on your waiver wire, go get them because they have Bengals this week, Steelers next week, Falcons the week after that, and Las Vegas to bring us home. That is.
They're one game back from Jacksonville. Everybody's talking about. Oh, it's going to be the Texans and the Jags. Not so fast. Here comes
I'm talking about another fun division. That's crazy,
man. And talk about the quarterbacks in that division. Lawrence, Stroud, you have Richardson coming back, dude, and then
we've talked about this before. That division moving forward is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and if Levis can be anything, man, it'll be fun. All right, let's move on to Jags at Browns. A lot of unknown.
Real quick. I don't know if we surmised the other guys to play in that. Did you already say it?
Yeah. So Chase, Higgins, Mixon, Moss,
Pittman.
Downs, Pittman.
Are you playing? Right? Downs has not been good. He hasn't had double-digit fantasy points in like 5 weeks.
Yeah, I like him. You're correct. I like him in this matchup specifically. That's what I said. I said I think you can play Downs here. He's in that Godwin range. He's that like he's the very edge. So it's OBJ, Downs, like that's that little area of you can play him because I think that you have positive game script, but he's not something I would like rely on as a must start.
Okay, real quick. I don't have any crazy stats off the top of my head, but Pittman and Mixon have been winning you games recently. Those dudes have been awesome.
Yeah.
Actually,
we're starting both those guys.
Yeah, of course. I actually do have an awesome stat. Pittman is second in the league in reception or in targets. Has the second most targets in the league, which is crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Insane.
He's over. I think Tyreek is third. He's second, and I'm trying to remember who's first.
Oh, it's probably Monra, I would assume.
It might be. That's what I thought.
CD. It could be a CD too. It could
be CD. Anyways, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But you're correct. Downs has not been good, but he still has it. He was hurt, came back. I think he's only been back for 2 weeks. So I just think the game script is good for him, and that defense is not very good against the pass because they got rid of their 2 best safeties last year. Jags at Browns. This is probably going to be like a must-watch game. We're going to see if the Browns defense can come back from their rocky start because I have them in both leagues. I need them to start playing well. What do you dislike in this game?
I think you can really only play ETN in this game.
Yeah, on the Jag side for sure.
And on the Browns, you can play Elijah Moore, I think, but I'm trying to stay in away.
Yeah, the Jags pass defense is not. I mean, they just got eaten up by Browning. Jags pass defense is bad. But yeah, I do like ETN.
I don't know if Cooper. I mean, his ribs are still effed up.
Yeah, you look at the injury report for that for sure.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. But I think it's really just a couple guys. I don't know.
Oh, and Njoku too.
He was bad with Flacco though. Flacco's first start, he only had 3.7 points off the top of my head, or 3.2. He was not looking at him, which I was surprised.
Yeah, it was a lot of Elijah Moore happening,
which makes sense because they have history when they were playing at the Jets together. But he threw, I think his catch percentage was like 37% to Elijah Moore because he threw like 15 or like 12 balls and he only caught like 5 of them. It's so bad.
This is the whole year.
Yeah. And some of that's Elijah Moore and some of that is Flacco, obviously, but they have rapport because they've played together before. So I think Elijah Moore, you can absolutely play, which is annoying because I think Davis is starting him against me.
Yeah, I think he's in the same bucket of OBJ and Godwin. He's like, you can play him, but hopefully you have better options.
Davis's fucking whole team is that because he got all these injuries, but so far it's working out for him. He's like, oh shit, I got to play Zeke. 27 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these good matchups of these like mediocre guys, and sometimes that's all you need is the good matchups.
Real quick, God, on Zeke. I think you sent this to me. Somebody did. Ezekiel had 27 PPR points last night. Tony Pollard has not reached that number once this year.
Yeah. He's so crazy. God, man. Zeke looks fine. Like he doesn't look like old Zeke, but he looks like
he looked pretty good.
He looks fine. Yeah, he looks fine. Like, I'm trying to think of a comp. Alexander Madison, maybe. I don't know. Like,
no, way better than that.
Well, what I'm saying, like he looks like a starting NFL running back. He's not a superstar, but he looks like a starting NFL running back. Are we sure Flacco's playing, or is
they could be going with
the rookie
3-letter name.
Really, DTR.
DTR. Jesus Christ.
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was in concussion protocol, so I think he'll probably be back this week.
Yes, they did say so. You can monitor that.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then Njoku is definitely in play.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next game. Game of the week. Panthers at Saints. What do you like in this game, Mason?
I'm going with Chuba, man. His production's been really good. Noah's not great against the run. They're fine. But they've been allowing 18.3 PPR points to running backs. They're allowing average 93 on the ground, 22 through the air, and 3 receptions. So I didn't look up the snap share between he and I haven't talked about him in so long. I just blanked on his name because
Sanders.
Abysmal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Sanders. But it's his backfield right now, and I
1,000%.
They keep running him out, and he keeps getting you double-digit fantasy points. He got you 22 last week. It's great.
Yeah. No, he looks. Yeah, he looks great. I wish they would run like more towards the gap scheme instead of like the zone scheme, because their tackles are like their first stringers, and you can stop the pass rush when you run at the defensive ends. But they just kind of want to run it up the middle every single time, and he's still getting you 4 yards of carry. So it's working.
Past 2 weeks, 20.2, 22.4 for Chuba.
Yeah. I know we're probably not supposed to do this because I did it a day early, but I'm going to add a second fighter for me.
You just want a drink, huh?
Yeah. DJ Chark will score 15 fantasy points this week. Ooh. DJ Chark is from New Orleans, Louisiana, and has never played an NFL game in New Orleans. Oh. And this is his first time. I talked to his sister this morning, and I was like, how's DJ feel? Is he going to show out?
Name dropping over said, here.
Yeah,
name dropper.
And she said, yeah, he's ready. And I was like, done. All right. So I got DJ for anytime touchdown.
That with him?
Yeah, I have anytime touchdown, and then I parlayed anytime touchdown with 70-plus yards. So I like DJ a lot this week. The Saints are either terrible against tight end, which you mentioned Stephen Sullivan yesterday, and you might be spot on with that. I got him for an anytime touchdown as well, because they gave up everything to Hawkinson and Laporta. Like, they got whatever they wanted. Granted, it's Stephen Sullivan, it's not those guys. But if you don't get it to the tight ends, the Saints are excellent against possession receiver. What they're not good at is the deep receiver. If you look at any of the stat lines, all the receivers that did well, it's all like 4 catches for 100 yards. Like Drake London was 5 receptions for 91 yards. Josh Downs had a good game against them because it's just a bunch of deep balls. So you got DJ Chark. What's he like to do? Go deep. And they started opening up the playbook for him last week. They started ISM, which was very, very weird. And DJ didn't start playing till the end of the first half. And when they put him in, immediately Bryce went to him. 22-yard reception, 4-yard reception. Yeah.
I think 8.7, something like that, which, it's not great, but in that league that we have, the 3 wide receivers that I've mentioned 14,000 times, he is serviceable.
Yeah, and he got, I think he's 18.7 yards per reception or something last game. So that's how you beat the Saints. So good matchup for DJ in his hometown, in front of his family and friends. It's my second fighter, along with another guy in this game who's Taysom Hill. I like him as a top 3 tight end, even with Hunter Henry putting up what he put up this past week.
Yeah, man. The Saints have just been abysmal against tight end. It is crazy. I'm looking at this stat right now over the last 4 weeks, so it's a little bit of a microcosm. I like to look at when I do my rankings is a little thing in my mind. I don't like to look at season-wide stats because it's so skewed. I like to look at the past couple weeks and the last 4. And there's this site that NFLFantasy.com is the thing that I use. And they show you the last 2 weeks, then they'll show you the last 4, and they show you season long, and you can also do every individual week. And in the last 4, they are giving up 22 plus points to tight ends. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the last two, they're giving up 17.5. So, like, those are still great. That is fantastic. So, Sullivan or who's our other
Trimble?
tight end? Trimble, yeah. Names are escaping me today. One of those guys, or maybe both of them. Sometimes when this happens, one guy gets, or they divide the.
Yeah, this happened to us earlier when we were trying to be like Trimble or Hurst, and of course Trimble got a touchdown. We were like Hurst. Yeah, so it's happened to us before. Or it happened to you before because you made that call, and of course it was the other guy.
Mm-hmm. The logic still stands there. It's a really good matchup.
Yeah, and I needed a second food fighter because Taysom Hill Wednesday did not practice, Thursday did not practice with a foot and left hand injury.
Oh, wow.
So we can monitor that. So I might only have one. We will see. I cannot believe that they say that Derek Carr might play. That's just so unfortunate. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, is there like I don't know, borderline malpractice? Like what the hell?
Yeah. Other than that, you're going to play Kamara. I think he's an absolutely smash start, especially if Taysom Hill doesn't play because he's not going to get vultured for touchdowns. And then I like Olave. And then on the Panthers side, basically just Chuba and DJ Chark. I would not play. The more I look into it, I would not play Mingo or Thielen.
Yeah. Again, I have them. I have Mingo ranked above Thielen, but I also have them ranked 39th and 40th. So to take that ranking, obviously in context. Alex, I am looking at the tight ends because I was just looking at these stats for the Saints. Your Komet thing might hit. Detroit has been bad against the tight end in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
they're allowing over 18, almost 19 points, depending on your scoring. Ooh. All of a sudden, I'm a little nervous.
All right, we got to go into ultra speed mode because you got to get out of here pretty soon.
Yes.
So let's go fast. Texans at Jets. You got a Garrett Wilson stat? Let's hear it.
I do. So Wilson to Wilson. Wilson and Wilson. Whoa! Stupidest bit we have.
I think it's the only bit we have.
Yeah, one of in Alabama receivers. We got the Alabama receivers.
Okay, go ahead.
50. Okay, so they have Wilson to Wilson this year. They've played 10 games. So everything is in 10. So you can just take all that and move the decimal around, which is nice. Average. So he has 57 receptions, which means averages 5.7 on 103 targets.
Wow.
103 targets?
Wow.
That is abysmal ratio, but that's crazy. He has eyes for this guy. You have to put him in. And then averages, he has 651 yards on the season, which, that means 65.1 yards per game. So that if you put those together in PPR, that's 12.2 points per game. And that is at least a flex for you, which means if you're getting 12 points out of your flex every week, you're pretty much happy. Obviously you want more, but that is great. I think you have to play him. I have him. You have him ranked 29. I think I have him at 22. Was he one of the ones we did a bet on? Did you write that down?
No, we do have him separate though. Do you want to do it real fast? Write it down.
It's not a huge discrepancy.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, I have him. Let me see exactly where I have him. If I have him I kind of want to make him a top 20 player. I don't know if I really want to, but it would make it more fun for the podcast. I have him at 22. I mean, I have him as a wide receiver too.
Yeah. So let's 26.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. Let's do it.
Okay, 26. Wilson.
Cool. 26 is a push, right? Yeah. 29. Yeah. All right. Cool.
I think I have 30.
I feel pretty good at that.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that.
Cool.
Wilson and Wills, come on, man.
I have him in my dynasty league, and I hope he doesn't do well. But whatever. I actually have that stack. I have a Wilson stack in dynasty, but I'm trying to lose.
I hope they just obliterate for you.
Yeah, I know. Oh God. Because I just can't. I can't even.
Can you imagine if he comes out and just obliterates?
He's going to.
Texans. Oh,
it's just going to be a big middle finger to Saleh. Just like letting it fly. Dalton Schultz,
such a shit show up there. Sorry, keep going.
Dalton Schultz did not practice yet. He was limited on Wednesday, and he did not. It looks like the hamstring is flared up. Brevin Jordan, you
love your Brevin Jordan, man.
But that's how you beat the Jets is tight end, especially because you don't have the slot. You don't have to take Dell out of your slot, so you're going to be. Hopefully, what they would do is put Noah Brown in the slot and Wedge on the outside. But they've been using Mechie as well. Mechie is a guy to look out for. He might be worth a speculative ad in a deep league. I actually have him as an anytime touchdown scorer this week. But Brevin Jordan, I will also add to that probably because Dalton Schultz, hamstrings, a late injury, do not practice with a hamstring injury. It doesn't look like Schultz going to play. So I'll probably put Brevin Jordan as – I'll probably do some sort of prop bet with him.
FYI, the Jets have been a lot better against the tight end the past 2 and 4 weeks. I'm looking at this right now.
Oh, wow.
They're only allowing in the past 4 weeks less than 10, and in the past 2 less than 8. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
interesting.
We'll see what happens
because they were abysmal. It was them and the Eagles were just terrible at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And the Saints. Saints are still really bad. So.
Yeah, they're still bad, like I told you they'd be. And
God, you are the Pied Piper of that bandwagon, man. Holy cow!
All right, so real fast, you can start Nico Collins smash start, even though you're going against Sauce.
You
have to. Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Stroud is a QB1. Everybody else is a maybe. Noah Brown, maybe. Brevin Jordan. I like Brevin Jordan. If Schultz doesn't play, I'd probably put him around 14. So he's like right on that cusp. If Schultz doesn't play, Jets, you got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, and that is it. But Breece Hall, on the injury report, he didn't play. He didn't practice 2 days in a row, so he might not play, which is Dalvin Cook time. So yeah, I wouldn't start any running back in the backfield for the Texans. Anything else you got to say about them?
Yeah, I think anytime touchdown Dameon Pierce is not a bad call. They've been using him at the goal line, and the Jets aren't good against the run. So I think one of those guys could be good, but I think it's a huge headache.
Fall into the end zone, yeah.
Exactly, and I think if it is that he took over that role again as the goal line guy.
Goal line, yeah.
Didn't he have 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago or something?
Yeah. It was like I was like, why didn't CJ Stroud just take that?
He's kind of Gus. He's kind of like Gus Edwards light, Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, very light.
But yeah, you can run on them, so I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys had. But man, that's it. It's a desperation move.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody else in this game. Conklin in a super deep league. Texans aren't good against.
I've got it ranked, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Texans aren't good against the tight end, so Conklin. Yeah, whatever. If you know by now if you needed to start Conklin. So
yeah, Conklin gets you like 7-8 points. Honestly, it's not that bad. But if that's what you have to do, you have to do it.
Yeah. Vikings at Raiders. You pretty much know everybody you're going to start in this game. Is there anybody you want to highlight specifically, Mason?
Vikings at Raiders. Did I have a note for this? Let me look quick. Sorry. Madison. I'm just very slowly giving up on Madison. I think I actually have him ranked. I have him ranked lower than you do. I still think I have him. You have him at 25, which I was actually surprised. I think I have him at 33, something like that. It's just so sad, the demise of which now he'll probably come back. I did this last time I talked shit about him. He had like 17 points.
Yeah.
So
we will know what that backfield looks like because they had a bye. So it could. it's scary. Matt, you're right. Madison's very scary because it could just be Ty Chandler coming out and he's the guy. We don't know. But Ty Chandler is the more explosive back, but Madison is probably the better pass blocker, and he is the more
established.
Established, exactly. So yeah, I like Madison as a floor guy, and then Ty Chandler your ceiling guy. You're starting Hawkinson, you're starting Jefferson. Are you starting?
Hawk's gonna have a huge game. Yeah, I think Hawk has a huge game. They're terrible against the tight end.
Yeah, and are you starting Addison?
I have no. I'm not.
Yeah, me neither.
I just don't think you can trust it. You know, desperation. I think I'm going up against him, which I'm very excited about. But JJ coming back, it's a little scary. That whole. The only thing that I trust in that offense right now is TJ Hawkinson.
Yep. Yeah.
JJ's going to get targets, obviously, but you just don't know what he is. He could be. I hope he's not a decoy, but he just might need to get up to game speed. Also, he's got a new quarterback, so like they're coming off a bye, so hopefully they've had time to practice and get on the same page. And JJ's a freak, so hopefully
they've been practicing for 3 weeks now because they opened up the window. So
hopefully they're on the same page, but you just never know.
Yeah, we'll see. Adams must start. Myers probably a fringe wide receiver 3-4.
Yes,
and then Jacobs must start and. Brian Flores is super aggressive on defense, and when you're super aggressive, you get beat long. Watch out for Trey Tucker. Dude's a burner. He gets off the line really, really fast. 3rd-round pick. I like him a lot long term, but that's how you beat the Vikings. They can got long. Yeah, I would just keep an eye out for Trey Tucker. I have him in my dynasty league, and I think that. In deeper leagues, he is worth a speculative ad because he is #fast. Seahawks at Niners. Really easy. You're starting all your Niners that you can possibly start. Is there anybody on the Seahawks that you like specifically?
The backfield makes me really nervous. I think I have to play Walker if he goes, but I do not feel great about it. That defense is very good. I think that DK continues his reign of terror, or I don't know about terror, but I think he has a good game. I think you can start JSN. We said yesterday, Alex, you think that JSN has taken over Lockett's job, but I also think that Lockett could be okay today.
Yeah, he's going to throw the ball
this weekend
45 times. So I like all 3 receivers in this game. And you're right, I do not like the pass catchers the running backs unless there's one. If there's one, I like them. If there's 3, I wouldn't start any of them. If there's 2, I start Charbonnet or Walker. Bills at there's nothing else, right?
On that,
yeah, exactly. Bills at Chiefs. I like this to be
Brock Purdy's a smash start, even though he didn't play well against them last time. I still kept him in the top 5 for me. He's just crushing, dude. He's just crushing.
Every fantasy relevant 49er.
Well, even Geno. I mean, Geno had a great game last week.
I like Geno. He's just going to throw the ball so much.
Yeah, I think, I have him ranked like 15th, I think. But if you're looking for you have to win and you need that flyer, I think he's probably got a decent ceiling. I think he also has a pretty low floor.
Low floor. Yep. Yeah. I like that analysis. Bills at Chiefs. I kind of feel the same way about this game as I felt about the last game. I'm kind of starting everybody in this game that is fantasy relevant. Is there anybody that you want to
highlight? This guy who's emerging. I think his last name is Allen. He's the quarterback. I think Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis is worth taking a look at for this game. He's been all over the place this year, but these 2 teams show up for each other. And if you remember that game where a couple years ago that everyone likes to reference, that was the breakout game for Gabe Davis against the Chiefs, where he had 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a little bit different team, but I think Gabe Davis is worth considering.
Yeah. I think this is Patrick Mahomes' finally breakout game where he finally gives you that wow, this is Patrick Mahomes kind of game. They have to, and they're at home. They just have to because they have not looked right for a little while now, and I just don't see them losing back to back. And because now here all of a sudden here comes Denver, so they can't lose. They can't be losing these division games.
Yeah,
or not division games. These conference games.
I think this is a fun game. Gabe Davis. Guess how many games over 20 points Gabe Davis has?
2.
4.
Wow.
But he's like all or nothing. It's wild, man. Oh my God. Tampa Bay, week 8, 23.7. The next game, he had 2 targets for 0 catches. He had 0 points. 9.6 the next game, 0 catches against the Jets. And then last week, or before the bye, he had 22.5. This dude is all over the fucking place. But again, he is the ultimate high floor, or high ceiling, low floor. Right. He can get you literally 0, or he can get you 25. That is just crazy.
Yeah,
so I think if you need that upside, you have to play him.
You play to win the game, man. If I had Gabe Davis, I am rolling him out, no questions asked, unless I have an elite, starting lineup of receivers.
Oh, that's so frustrating, though. I don't want anything to do with him because it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But I think this game,
play to win the game, baby.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be
great DFS play, probably.
Yeah. Also, Dalton Kincaid owners understand Dawson Knox. His window is open to return from IR.
Yeah.
That could affect you going forward. So I would just kind of be aware. I have Jake
Ferguson, and I'm leaving him in right now, even though I love Dalton Kincaid. And but Dawson Knox, he has eyes for Dawson Knox in the red zone.
Kincaid will lose production. If he loses production, he could still be a top 5 tight end. But
he's great. I think moving forward next year, he's going to be awesome, and just his career is going to be very, very good. This whole crop of tight ends is fantastic. He definitely eats into his production a little bit because Allen loves Dawson Knox, and he loves to throw him in ball in the red zone. So
they basically came up together. So I think that's kind of they just are buds.
They are, man. Yeah. Kind of like what's his name? The Chargers back in the day, towards the end of his career.
The
Chargers. No.
Chargers. Rivers and Gates.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yep.
I knew you would come through for me. Rivers and Gates. Yeah, towards the end there, they were just like. Gates would come in for like 5% of the snaps, but like he would get 2 touchdowns on.
He had exactly. He had 14 touchdowns in the. He was like Jason Witten, just like
ridiculous. Yeah, yes, Witten and Romo.
He'd give you and the fact is, he'd give you all his touchdowns and still wouldn't be fantasy relevant because he'd only have 8 points.
Yes, he'd get 1 catch for 1 touchdown and give you Exactly.
Oh man, he's like Barnum. Which, by the way. We're going to Broncos at Chargers. I bet a Parham anytime touchdown in this game. Is there anything that you like about this game?
I almost ranked Parham, but I like Everett decently well in this game. Everett had, what was it, 20? Oh, sorry, let me look this up real quick. He had a lot of targets to Everett last week. This is why we talked about this the other day. Everett had, even in that shitty game, he had, the past 2 weeks, he has 14.3 and 8.4. And that's the kind of production you want, from a streaming tight end. So,
yeah. Palmer, just a note about the Chargers. Palmer's IR window has opened, 21-day window has opened. He might be there by the fantasy championship. So, it's not really worth picking up. I picked him up and I was like, it's kind of stupid because I'm not going to play him the fantasy championship game if I had to, No. So, but just be aware that if you're in a super deep league or whatever reason, so you're like Everett, obviously Keenan Allen, obviously Herbert. You're playing Sutton, you're playing Javonte Williams, you're playing Eckler, maybe. And do you like Guyton, Judy, any of those guys?
Who?
Judy.
Moving on.
Okay, moving on. Eagles at Cowboys. Every single possible person you could possibly play in this game, you are playing. Is there anyone specific you want to touch on, Mason?
Well, there's one guy, because I don't know if you haven't noticed, I haven't done my FU Fighter of the Week. Brandon Cooks is my FU Fighter of the Week.
Let's go.
Since week 6, Brandon Cooks is wide receiver 15, averaging 15.4 PPR points per week.
Wow.
Yep.
It's so quiet. He's just like so quietly good.
Oh, it's just the old guy that nobody talks about. That every year just produces. Last year was the only anomaly because he hated playing for the Texans. Yeah. He literally just gave up. He came out. I think he just tweeted about it. He's like, "Fuck this team."
Yeah, he didn't play for like 5 games, and he finally was like, "Oh, I guess I got to show people that I can still play."
The Eagles average points to wide receiver on the year, and I know I said I don't like talking about year stats, but this is just too good because you don't really need a microcosm for this. On the year, for the season, they are allowing 48.3 points to wide receivers. Woo! That is crazy. That is an unbelievable stat.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks, I have him right now as my FU Fighter because the past few weeks he's had 16 and 17 points. So I said 18 points, but I got to go higher than that. I'm saying he gets you 20 points. 20 points because 16 and 17 is great. Just saying one more point above what he's done the past 2 weeks ain't nothing. So we're going 20 points for Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get him a 2 touchdowns bet. I think that
against them last time was not good. That was week. I didn't write it down, but it was a while ago. It was before he started the streak of being relevant. So it was week 5. I think it was right before he started getting hot. He only had 1.7 PPR points. But that game, CD Lamb had 196. It was a 28 point. So, they're still giving up an insane amount of points to wide receivers. It just all went to CD that game.
Yeah. I remember watching that game, too. He got targeted, and there were a couple pass interferences not called.
Yeah, he got him down the field,
were called. So, yeah, exactly. So, I think this is just me personally. I think Cowboys run away with this game.
You said that. That. I don't hate the take. The Eagles are, I don't know. They're going to be mad. They'll be feisty, I think.
Yeah, I think that it's like you made him bleed kind of thing. It's like, Rocky is like, he's cut. You see, he bleeds. And I think that's the Eagles, and the Cowboys are rolling.
They're rolling. I'm cheering for the Cowboys because I hate the Eagles. I'll cheer for anybody over the Eagles. Sorry for all the Eagles fans that are listening. There's not any.
No, dude, I'm like randomly a Cowboys fan now, like out of nowhere.
It's just fun to watch. Dare I say greatness, but excellence. Well, they've been excellent the past
well-oiled machine.
6-7 weeks. Pretty much since Brandon Cooks has been humming. They there's the connection between Dak and his receivers right now that is unparalleled in the NFL right now. So Dak is I think Brock Purdy is the Vegas favorite to win the MVP right now, but it is
stupid. It's not stupid because Brock is playing well, but Dak is on another level.
Dak's been here's phenomenal. Here's the thing. If Dak wins this game, then he's got to skyrocket.
1,000%. And I think I don't see the Cowboys might not lose another game this season. I like them a lot. What sucks is it's going to be them and the freaking Niners, and the Niners just match up so well against them. I feel bad for the Cowboys if they have to go against the Niners.
The Ringers guy has made a great point about I think actually BS
Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons, thank you. Said this to them in an interview that they were doing with him, or they were on his pod, is that when you look at the MVP, he said that the MVP matters a lot. Bill Simmons said this. Because you kind of see what that year was through a lens of the MVP. So like when you see who won the MVP, you can be like, that was the year of that dude. And that should kind of show you what that year was. And if you talk about the MVP right now, it's like, okay, is this the year of Brock Purdy, or was that like a group of guys doing an awesome thing? Was that the head coach with the quarterback and the receivers? Yeah. And that was a cumulative effort. Right. And I think you could say the same thing with the Eagles, whereas like, not that Dak, is just putting these guys on his back, but he is like, he's crushing. But I still think if Tyreek Hill fucking plays, if he breaks that 2,000-yard mark, and especially if he does it in 16 games, which he's on pace to do, then this is the year of Tyreek Hill. And I love that take. And I before I even heard that, I would have voted, not that I have any sort of sway, I would have voted for Tyreek Hill on the pace he's going, because what he's doing is unprecedented. It's never happened before. And if a guy were to ever get a MVP that was not a quarterback in recent history, it has to be for something that has that much gravitas and that much like, holy shit, this is record breaking.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever, the closest thing to an unguardable player that I've ever seen in my entire life was Calvin Johnson, and he was still guardable. Tyreek Hill is unguardable. No matter, Bill Belichick might be one of the best defensive minds of all time. He can't figure it out. He is literally unguardable. And you're right. If he passes 2,000 yards, I think you have to give it to him, because it will be.
I just love
so special.
I love the idea of what was it the year? What was the thing that defined that year? And that's what the MVP should be, really, because the quarterback is always the most important. But when you have a guy that is that special, doing things that he's doing that is going to be a record-breaking performance, God willing, he stays healthy, then it has to be considered. And I think he should win it.
I completely agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. Speaking of Monday Night Football, you want to just do this on Monday? Since we'll
do it on Monday. I got to get out of here.
Right. Cool. Have a good weekend, everybody. Mason, you want to take us home?
As we say at the end of every episode,
you Fantasy Football Podcast.
Bye now.